What's up, garden nerds? Today we're gonna talk about soil and why it shouldn't be naked. Guys, we should never leave our soil naked. So today I'm gonna tell you with 8 reasons why you should be growing a ground cover everywhere in your yard. Come on, let's go. Alright guys, so here we are sitting in front of one of my ground covers. This is a sweet potato vine. It is an awesome ground cover. We're gonna go over 8 reasons why you should have a ground cover and you should not leave your soil exposed. We don't want naked soil. Naked soil is bad. So let's go over the 8 reasons why ground cover is awesome. Reason number 1 is it is a living mulch. We talk a lot, especially here in the desert Southwest, everybody's talking about mulching. Should I mulch with wood chips? Should I mulch with leaves? Should I mulch with pine needles? Tons of stuff that you can mulch with. But there is nothing better to mulch with than a living mulch. Reason number 2 why you should grow a ground cover is because it helps prevent weeds. Everybody hates weeds, guys. In fact, here's a weed right here, and it's because this soil right here is naked. And so weeds are growing. When you have a living mulch, it is going to stop and prevent weeds from growing. Weeds aren't gonna grow under this stuff. They're not gonna come up, they're not gonna look ugly. All you're gonna see if you have ground cover is ground cover. You're not gonna see weeds. So if you don't want weeds, grow ground cover. Reason number 3 why you should always have a ground cover on your soil is because it insulates, both in the summer and in the winter. In the summer, it's gonna keep the soil cool, which is what all the trees want. When it's 120 degrees up in the sky, down below under the ground cover, it's gonna be a lot cooler. And then in the winter, sometimes when we get below freezing, it's gonna insulate the ground and keep the roots from freezing. When it's really cold up high, down below the ground cover, it's gonna be a little bit warmer. Reason number 4 why you should have a ground cover and not bare naked soil is because it helps save water. Guys, here in the desert Southwest, there's tons of talk about drought and lack of water and should we even be growing things. One way, and I have lots of videos talking about using mulch to save water, but as I talked about, a living mulch is even better. It's going to help conserve water. For the same way that it insulates against warm and cold temperatures, it also keeps the moisture locked in. If there's a ground cover over the ground, the sun is not going to be able to shine down as much and evaporate that water, and then it's also going to be cooler down there and it's going to keep the water in the soil. So by growing a ground cover, you're going to save water. Reason number 5 why you should have a ground cover everywhere in your yard is because it helps prevent soil erosion. Soil erosion is a big problem all across the world. In the Midwest, it's a huge problem where they grow lots of crops and they till and they use lots of synthetic fertilizers. There's lots of runoff. If you're growing a ground cover, you're not gonna have that for a number of different reasons. The primary reason is because you're gonna have lots of roots growing into the soil, and that's gonna hold the soil together and compact. And so when you have rains or whatever else it may be, it's not gonna get washed away. It's gonna be held together by that ground cover. It's going to be producing good soil that's gonna stay right there, that's gonna break down, it's gonna feed the worms, it's gonna feed your trees. Grow a ground cover. Reason number 6 you should have a ground cover on your soil is because it increases biodiversity. Especially if you're using a native ground cover, it's going to attract all types of insects, native animals, native bugs, native insects, things that are gonna come into your yard, into your soil, and it's going to help that life. What we want is living things in our soil, in our yard. That's what creates a healthy soil, a healthy environment, healthy trees, healthy plants. So by always having a ground cover, you're gonna have more of that, and everything in your yard is gonna be more healthy. Reason number 7 you should always have a ground cover is because, guys, it's low maintenance. It's very, very easy. As I said with my potato vines here, I planted them a few years ago. They come back every single year without me having to do anything. The only thing I ever have to do is to trim them. You can plant lantana that requires very little water. Trailing lantana, it will grow along the ground. There's tons of things, even native things, that grow and cover the ground, and you essentially do very little work, very low maintenance, but the benefits are huge. Reason number 8, and the last reason why you should always have a ground cover and never have naked soil, is because, and this is important, this is very important, all we want to do to create healthy soil is to pull carbon from the air down into the soil. Carbon in the air, bad. carbon in the soil? Good. Anything that is living and green is pulling carbon from the air and putting it into the soil. So if you have patches in your yard, in your garden that are just naked and there's none of that process, that photosynthesis process going on of pulling carbon into the ground, you are missing out on enriching your soil. So think of places in your yard where it's naked and go and plant something. It can be something very low maintenance like we talked about. It can be something native that doesn't require a lot of water. Get it down, let it start growing. Even if it's grass, guys, you can water grass appropriately to where you're not wasting tons of water, and all you're going to be doing is pulling that carbon from the air and putting it into the ground and enriching your soil. So go look in your yard. If there's any naked parts, hurry, cover it up, plant something, and your garden, your trees, the environment around your house, everyone will thank you for planting a ground cover. Thank you for watching, guys. Please subscribe to the channel. Please comment below what videos you want to see, what questions you have. If I have experience in it, I will make that video. If I don't have experience in it, I will find an expert and go and make that video to answer your questions. Thanks for watching, guys.